For 3 years, Chloe and I were both putting on an act. She pretended to love me, and I pretended to be truly loved. It was not until we were trapped after a car crash that she finally dropped the facade. Ethan, I am sick of your spoiled, childish tantrums. How could I ever love you? I looked down at the rebar piercing through my abdomen. I am sorry that will not happen again because I think I am dying. Begging me to fly home early to be with you, just to set up a car crash to kill me. You are a little too eager, don't you think? What are you talking about? Stop playing dumb, Ethan. My parents were killed when your father hired someone to run them over, and today you are just pulling the same stunt. That is not what happened. You should not jump to conclusions without any proof. The only reason I was with you was to gather evidence of the Hayes family's crimes. What other reason could there possibly be? My lips trembled, but I said nothing. I knew I had known all of this for 3 years, but I still could not turn down the chance to be with her because I had been secretly in love with her for many years before that. Stop. Just stop, I said, clumsily changing the subject. We should call 911 first. You mean call someone to finish me off for good? I whispered back. No. Chloe was surprised by how calm I was, probably because I was usually so sensitive that a single wrong word from her could send me into a rage. Are you hurt? She asked. I do not know. I feel completely drained of strength, but it is probably just a normal reaction to the impact. I do not think so. After all, you have never been the strong type. You cannot handle the slightest bit of pain or injustice. I knew Chloe did not love me, but now it seemed it was not just a lack of love, but a deep-seated hatred. 3 years ago, Chloe had suddenly approached me and asked, "Will you be my boyfriend?" I was in a daze, but I answered on instinct. Okay. Later, I accidentally overheard her on a call. Yes, we are together now. Do not worry. I do not like Ethan. As soon as I find the evidence of his father's crimes, I will break up with him. Was this the end? I could not accept it. Besides, I was certain my father was a good man, so I told myself I will give her one more chance. After that, I started acting out in all sorts of ways, doing things that to an outsider would look like I was bullying Chloe. But through it all, Chloe silently endured everything, pretending to be endlessly patient with me. My thoughts snapped back to the present, and I looked at Chloe. You do like me a little, don't you? Chloe looked at me and said, enunciating every word, Ethan, listen to me very carefully. In these 3 years, there has not been a single moment that I have liked you. A sharp twisting pain shot through my chest as if I had been shot. The sword that had been hanging over my head for 3 years had finally fallen. Yet, I felt no shock, only a strange and brutal clarity. Just then, the long blast of a horn echoed from above us. Chloe twisted around and yelled something out the window, but her voice was drowned out by another blast as the vehicle sped away. It was a semi-truck passing by. The driver must not have seen us. I sat motionless in the darkness, my breathing growing shallow. Did you find the evidence of my father's crimes? I asked. She was silent for a long moment before answering. Not yet. You will not find it because my father is not that kind of person. He has one firm rule: never break the law, and never hurt anyone. You should be looking for answers in another direction. Another direction. repeated. Yes. Who was it that told you? My father was responsible for your parents' deaths. Chloe fell silent. It was Julian, your uncle, was it not? Snapped. Impossible. You investigated me. Behind my back. Found out something you refused to believe. And now that your attempt to kill me in a car crash has failed, you were trying to frame my uncle. I had expected her not to believe me, but I was running out of time. In the brief moment, the truck's headlights had illuminated the car. I had seen it. A length of rebar had gone straight through my torso from behind, pinning me to the driver's seat. Open the glove compartment. There is a manila envelope inside. When you get rescued, you have to be the one to open it. What is in it? She asked. Your birthday present. Chloe's tone softened. But you said you were not getting me anything. We had a huge fight right before Chloe left on her trip. It was really just me throwing a one-sided tantrum because her last-minute business trip ruined the birthday celebration I had planned. Just go. Do not expect any birthday wishes from me and forget about a present. Have decided to forget your birthday entirely. Chloe had walked over and hugged me. Ethan, do not be so childish. Just having you is enough. I do not need a birthday present. Looking back now, her acting was incredible. So good that I almost believed I was truly loved. But I still said, buying you a gift is what makes me happy. After I said that, I lost consciousness. The roar of a few more cars passing overhead jolted me awake. I heard the sound of Chloe smashing the car window. I have broken the window. Now I need your help with my right leg. Then I can climb out and get help. She took my hand and placed it on her right knee. Help me with that. Chloe gripped her right knee with both hands and pulled. I gritted my teeth and used the last of my strength to help. Chloe let out a long drawn-out cry of pain before slumping back against her seat. Defeated, I fell to the side, completely spent. Ethan, do not give up. Let us try one more time, she urged. I kept my eyes closed and whispered, no, I really do not have any strength left. Ethan, can you stop acting like a child for once? Even at a time like this, you are still throwing one of your spoiled tantrums. A horn blared from above again. Hey, down there, do not worry. The rescue team is here. Another voice shouted. We need paramedics down here now. Someone trapped is seriously injured. The driver's side door was quickly pried open and a rescuer prepared to cut the rebar. This is going to cause extreme pain. I need someone to hold him steady. I managed to lift my eyelids and saw Chloe's pale, terrified face. I slowly removed the ring from my left hand and held it out to her, my hand trembling. From now on, you are free. My fingers went limp and the ring fell to the ground with a soft clink. I could not hold on any longer and closed my eyes. In that instant, all the pain vanished. I awoke to find myself standing in front of the wreck, watching my own rescue as if I were a bystander. Chloe leaned in and held me in her arms as the whine of a power saw started up, sending sparks flying behind me. It is okay, Ethan. Do not be afraid. It is okay, Chloe murmured into my ear, repeating the words over and over as if in a trance. Asterisk. You do not have to cuddle him any more. Ethan will not throw any more tantrums. He is being very good now. So, are you satisfied, Chloe? We were loaded into the same ambulance where the entire medical team surrounded me. Chloe, her own head wound untreated and her face, stray with blood, sat numbly to one side, her eyes fixed on my heart monitor. The wound edges are jagged and he is losing too much blood, a paramedic said. Did he move around inside the car? It looks like the wound was aggravated. Chloe's breath caught in her throat. She spoke with great difficulty. He tried to start the car. He used all his strength to help me pry my seat back. And at the end he had been forced into a twisted position to help free her leg. He had failed, and as he lay dying, she had called him spoiled and childish. The ambulance sped to the hospital. Chloe was stopped outside the doors to the trauma room where she stared blankly at the closed white doors. Family members need to wait out here. A nurse approached her. You are injured as well, ma'am. You need to have that looked at and bandaged. Please come with me. When she did not respond, the nurse asked again, ma'am. Chloe's answer was completely unrelated. A low mutter to herself. That was not the sound of gasoline dripping. It was his blood. I'm sorry. What was that? The nurse asked. Why did he not say anything? Chloe cried, collapsing to the floor in a heap. He was so badly hurt. Why did he not tell me? The nurse knelt to comfort her. When one person is seriously injured in a situation like that, it can cause the other to panic and be unable to call for help calmly. He must care about you very much. That is why he did not want you to worry. Care about her. I suppose I did, but not anymore. One of the nurses from the rescue team stepped out of the elevator and handed Chloe the manila envelope. Is this yours? It was left behind at the scene. It looks important. Chloe had actually forgotten something so important. She was not a forgetful person, especially when the envelope contained the clues and evidence she had been so desperate to find. Chloe took it mechanically and set it on the floor. She clasped her hands together, then opened them to reveal a blood-stained ring in her palm. She had forgotten the envelope, but she had picked up the ring I had dropped. This was so unlike her. She would never care about something so meaningless. Just then, my father walked over, his eyes red. He hauled Chloe up from the floor and demanded, "What happened?" "Ethan was just going to the airport to pick you up." How could he be so seriously injured? Tears welled up in Chloe's eyes as she answered in a hoarse voice. "On the way home we were run off the road by a truck and fell into a ravine." My father staggered. "The driver? Did you call the police?" Chloe nodded, then handed the envelope to my father. "The contents of this are likely related to the crash. Please give it to the police." My father opened it and his eyes widened in shock after reading only the first page. "Are you sure about this? This contains information about your uncle." "I am sure," Chloe said, her expression vacant. "It does not matter. None of it matters anymore. My father, Ethan is going to be fine." But even as he said the words, his eyes filled with tears. I stood beside my father and heard him say to Chloe, "That foolish boy of mine has been in love with you for a very long time. You knew that, did you not?" Chloe, leaning against the wall, turned her head to look at him, her expression blank. My father glanced at her. "You have probably forgotten, but you two met when you were very young." "Was not that young, actually. 12 or 13. Is old enough to remember someone special. Back then, my father was always busy with work, so I spent my school breaks with him at his company. He would let me use a conference room to do my homework, but I would just fool around, using the projector to watch cartoons or singing into the microphone. I never got any work done. Then one day my father brought a girl into the room. This is Mr. and Mrs. Sterling's daughter. Will be studying here with you from now. If you have any questions you cannot solve, you can ask her for help. Snorted and pretended to be engrossed in my book. The door closed and the girl sat down at the opposite corner of the long table. I peeked at her then, defiantly slammed my book shut and went back to messing with the laptop on the podium, making as much noise as I could. The girl got up and left the room, probably to tell on me. I ran over to her seat, intending to spitefully hide her books. Just as I picked one up, the door opened and she walked back in. In my panic, I knocked over her water bottle, spilling water all over her textbook. She did not get angry, but simply wiped it dry. "It is okay," she said. My mother put a plastic cover on it. I suddenly felt a pang of sadness. She tilted her head and looked into my eyes. "I am sorry. I forgot that you do not have a mother." She picked up one of her books, removed the cover that already had her name on it, and carefully wrapped it around my own frayed dog-eared book. "What is your name?" she asked. I looked down and answered quietly. "Ethan," the girl wrote my name on the cover, stroke by careful stroke. From that day on, Chloe's name was hidden on the inside of my book cover, on the reverse side of my own. "That silly kid still has the book cover you gave him." "Even now," my father said softly, looking at Chloe's pale face. "Not long after that, your parents withdrew their investment from my company at your uncle's suggestion. You two did not see each other again until Ethan enrolled at your university. He enrolled at Boston University because of me." My father gave a bitter smile. "That boy started studying like a madman after he found out where you were." I could hardly recognize him. The year he turned 18, he got his acceptance letter and ran home to tell me he only made it because he was in love with someone. I asked him who it was and told him to bring her home to meet me, but the little rascal just stammered that it was you. He thought I would be furious and hit him, so he just sat on the floor with his head in his hands. My father glanced at the door to the operating room. "But how could I ever hit him? It does not matter who he loves. The only reason I make money is to see him happy. When I am too old to work, he can take over the company if he wants. If not, I will just sell my shares and we can travel the world together." Just as he finished speaking, the doors to the operating room swung open. A doctor hurried out. "The patient is in critical condition. One of you needs to sign the consent forms." Chloe's hand trembled as she reached for the pen. "I will sign, Chloe," my father said, placing his hand over hers. "Let me." The doors closed once more. Chloe stood frozen in the middle of the hallway like a lost, desolate creature. My father's voice broke. "Maybe I should have sold the company long ago. My son has not even had the chance to travel the world with his father. He has not even been properly loved." Suddenly, Chloe dropped to her knees. "I am so sorry," she sobbed. "It is all my fault. I'm so sorry." At that moment I felt a powerful force pull me into a dark vortex. When I opened my eyes again, I was staring at a white ceiling. I was not dead. I was lying weakly in a hospital bed, my hand held tightly in someone else's. I turned my head and saw a faint smile on Chloe's gaunt face. "Ethan, you are finally awake." I blinked, wearily, and with all my strength pulled my hand from her grasp. "Ethan, are you still unwilling to see Chloe?" my father asked. I shook my head from where I was, propped up in bed. "The investigation is complete. It was her uncle who was behind both your crash and the one that killed her parents. He has been arrested and sentenced. He will likely be in prison for the rest of his life. That it is all over, she says she wants to apologize to you in person." The day I woke up, Chloe's presence had caused me to have a brief cardiac arrhythmia, and the doctors had advised her to stay away for a while. For the past 2 weeks she has done nothing but wait outside my hospital room. "Do you hate her?" he asked. I shook my head. It was not hate. I just did not understand why she was so insistent on getting forgiveness from someone she despised. It was pointless. My father smiled. "Ethan has grown up and can handle his own emotions, but I think it is always better for adults to talk things through. The two of you are acting like a young couple, giving each other the silent treatment. We are not a couple." "We never were," I said, a slight cramp in my stomach causing me to curl up under the covers. My father was right. Chloe and I needed a formal end to things. So, when it was time for me to transfer to a rehabilitation center, I did not avoid Chloe. When she saw me leave my room, a look of surprised joy spread across her face. "Ethan, let me drive you to the center." "Okay, I have some things for you in the trunk. They are all, thank you, but that will not be necessary," I said, looking her straight in the eye. "Let us clear the air today and then never see each other again." A look of pain filled Chloe's eyes. "I know everything now that we met as children, that you went to Boston University because of me. That is all in the past," I interrupted. "We need to talk about the future. I will have my things removed from your apartment today. As for the transfer of my shares in your overseas company, my legal team will be in contact with you shortly." "I'm sorry," Chloe cut in desperately. "Should never have believed Julian or mistaken your father for a murderer. Should not have said all those hurtful things, and I never should have failed to notice you were hurt and still made you help me. I am so sorry." And I added, with a calm smile, "What you should be most sorry for is starting a relationship with me just to use me, but I accept your apology. Our business is concluded here." Chloe stared at me, stunned. I averted my gaze and walked toward the elevator. As I passed her, she grabbed my wrist. "Ethan," she said, her brow furrowed in distress, "please do not break up with me, okay?" I shook her hand off. "As soon as I find the evidence of Mr. Hayes's crimes, I will break up with him. You have not forgotten who said that, have you?" In that moment, Chloe looked as if she had been struck by lightning. On my 3rd day at the rehabilitation center, I saw her again. She would appear silently at my door, like a ghost, then follow me to the gardens and the cafeteria. I wanted to lose my temper, but I still had not regained enough strength. All I could do was say wearily, "Miss Sterling, you do not have to do this. Do not waste your time on these meaningless gestures just because you feel guilty." Chloe replied, with grave sincerity, "It is not guilt. Do not want to break up, Ethan. I cannot live without you. I love you." The next second, a wave of nausea washed over me. I rushed into the bathroom and began to vomit uncontrollably. I think she followed me in, but she left just as quickly. I cannot remember clearly, only that I was covered in a cold sweat as the doctors moved me back to my bed and gave me an injection to calm me down. Lay curled on my side under the blankets, listening to my father's low, furious voice and Chloe's choked sobs of, "I am sorry." The doctor explained that, while my digestive system was weak, the vomiting was primarily psychological. Father arranged for me to see a therapist and moved up our plans for a trip around the world. We were only halfway through our trip when the company was suddenly hit with a funding crisis. My father and I flew home overnight for a series of emergency meetings with investment firms, but none of them led to a deal. Without new funding, our capital chain was about to snap. Our only option would be to cut costs at our subsidiaries and implement mass layoffs. The livelihoods of hundreds of people were about to be destroyed on my watch. Just when we were at our wits' end, an unknown investment firm approached us. Not believing in miracles, I went straight to their office unannounced. And just as I suspected, the person inside was Chloe. I slammed my hand on the table. "Where did you get this kind of money?" demanded. She stood up and answered plainly, "I sold my company overseas." Stared at her in disbelief. "Are you insane? You sold everything you own to gamble on me." Chloe looked down and said calmly, "I am not insane, but I would be if you were not okay." I laughed, furious. "Are you not supposed to be the rational one who always weighs the pros and cons? Why are you acting like a childish, rebellious teenager?" Childish. I never imagined I would be saying the very word Chloe had so often used to describe me. I should have refused her offer, but would it be too selfish to refuse when the cost was the jobs of several hundred people? In the end, we accepted the financing deal. 6 months later, the company had weathered the crisis. It was the end of the year, and we were holding a grand celebration in the top-floor ballroom of our office building. I had been holding a glass of juice, but somehow it had been replaced with champagne. As I raised the glass to my lips, a hand shot out and stopped me. "You are not well enough to be drinking," Chloe said, her face grim and serious. "Do our investors get a say in this now?" I said coldly. "Go away." Raised the glass again, but Chloe snatched it from my hand and drained it herself. I glanced around the room, not wanting to make a scene and ruin the festive mood for everyone. So I simply got another glass. But before I could take a sip, she snatched that one away and drank it too. I had reached my limit. "Chloe, if you have a problem, go see a doctor," I hissed. "Stop meddling in my business." A blush crept up Chloe's cheeks, and a new light entered her eyes. The next thing I knew, she was grabbing my arm and pulling me out onto the terrace. Now that we were alone, I finally let her have it. "Why are you haunting me? If you hate me so much, why did you stay with me? Why did you help me? Why do you keep meddling? What is this new act you are putting on?" "I do not hate you," she said quietly. "What did you say?" I demanded. She repeated a little louder. "I do not hate you, and I am not acting." I scoffed like hell. "Believe you." I turned to leave, but she wrapped her arms around me from behind. "I have proof." She pulled a ring from her pocket. "I made this myself the day before our 2nd anniversary. I wanted to give it to you then, but I was afraid you had already bought something, so I made up that excuse about not liking the rings here. I never imagined you would actually fly to South Africa to buy a matching set. I regretted it for a long time, but I was too afraid of your temper to ever show it to you. Snorted. If you are going to make up a story, at least try to make it believable. You can find a ring like this anywhere. She held it out to me, her voice urgent. No, it is not. The inside is engraved with our initials and the date. I carved them myself. I took the ring from her, and in the next instant I threw it over the railing and into the massive fountain below. Even if you did not hate me for those 3 years, I said, looking at her pale face and re-ened eyes, I hate you now. 3 o'clock in the morning, I shot up in bed, furious. Chloe was an absolute menace, a pest. That ring, had she really made it herself? How could a workaholic like her, who scheduled her life down to the second, possibly have time for something so tedious? Cursing myself the whole way, I walked to the fountain in front of the office building. It was still dark out and the fountain was off. Suddenly, I heard a splashing sound coming from the pool. I jumped, the hairs on my arms standing on end. Ethan. A voice called out. It was Chloe. Turned to run, but her choked voice stopped me. Ethan, do not go. Please. Help me find it. The fountains turn on in half an hour, and if we do not find it by then, it will be lost forever. Gritted my teeth and stopped. You are pathetic, Ethan. I walked over to her and demanded, have you searched the section yet? Chloe just stared at me, stunned. Well, answer me. I snapped. Not yet, she mumbled. We split the area and began feeling around the bottom of the pool. At one point, we both leaned in and bumped heads. I shot up and yelled, Chloe, did you do that on purpose? If you were not going to search properly, then get lost. She acted as if she had not heard me. She suddenly ducked her head under the water, then shot back up, shouting, I found it. Just as the words left her mouth, the main jet of the fountain erupted, drenching her completely, but she just stood there, like an idiot, holding the ring out for me to see. I could not help but laugh. Took the ring and sat down on the stone bench at the edge of the pool. Chloe slowly walked over and sat down quietly beside me. I held the ring up to my eye level, studying it with a frown. Did you really make this yourself? She stared at me, looking like she wanted to say something, but was holding back. Spit it out, I said coldly. I am afraid to say it. I do not want to upset you and make you sick again. My stomach has been fine lately, I said. But if you know that, why are you still getting in my face? Just seeing you makes me sick. Chloe lowered her head. I am sorry. I waved my hand dismissively. Whatever. Just say what you have to say. If I feel sick, I will try to hold it in. She glanced at me cautiously. That night 3 years ago, the reason I approached you was because you felt familiar to me. I was already falling for you back then. Afterward, I had to remind myself every day not to love you, but it never worked. When my investigation turned up nothing, I was secretly relieved because I did not want to break up with you. Then you urged me to come home and the crash happened. Chloe's words trailed off as she snuck a glance at my face. I stared at her. Why did you stop? Are you feeling sick? She asked. No. Chloe's eyes lit up and she asked shamelessly, in that case, can I confess my love for you again? No, I said. The sun was rising, casting a golden glow over us. She gazed at me, mesmerized. Then can I kiss you? Get lost, I said. This idiot seemed like a completely different person. All right. I suppose I can do you the favor of getting to know you all over.